Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Awakening Potential podcast, your gateway to the extraordinary. And today we're featuring Sir Charles Cary, who has mastered turning everyday moments into milestones of wisdom. He is a content creator, both physical and digital content, and where he best enjoys his creativity. And he's also his titles are peak performance strategy, coaching, mindset coaching, author, trainer, and singer, songwriter, producer of music. I love that. I've listened to some of his stuff. It's awesome. Sir Charles Cary embodies the transition from ordinary to extraordinary, making his the perfect guide for today's exploration. So join us as we delve into his transformational journey and glean insights into elevating our own lives. Let's embark on this enlightening journey together, and a warm welcome to you, Sir Charles.
Thank you for having me first and foremost. It's always a joy to meet or see or greet a familiar face and also to share, your gift with the world.
Absolutely, absolutely. So just for those who are listening today, who is Sir Charles, the man?
For a long time, Karen, I thought that I was a singer, because that's what I did. That's my first place
Oh,
in space. He's a singer, right? And then many years later, because of life and life's experience, he's a speaker. And then I thought about it maybe a few years ago, just literally 2 or 3 years ago. I said, you know what? You weren't and you aren't a singer. You create music, you create songs, you create lyrics, you're a producer, and that's content on the entertainment side. And as a speaker, you've written books, you create programs and you coach people, and that's content on the personal slash professional development side. So, in essence, Charles, you're neither of those titles. You're a content creator, as you said in the intro, physical and digital content creator, and that's what I am. I'm a true creator. That's the gift that God has put inside of me.
love that.
Um, but outside of that, as someone may look at my work, I'm a fun-loving person. I love people. I'm an addict of people.
Me
I
too.
like to have a good time. I really do. I like to have a good time. I like movies as a pastime. Of course, that leads into the creative side because I have filmed and edited film. So, I mean, I love things that I'm all about.
That's awesome. What's some of the backstory? Like, what got you interested in doing what you do today? Like, where were you
Well, I
from?
hope the viewers and the listeners are ready because we're going to need about 3, maybe 4 hours for this. So it
That's okay.
started one day. No, let me stop. No, but honestly, what put me in this position was I was this little kid that was very inquisitive. I always asked questions. Why? How? Did you see it? Did you do it? Et cetera, et cetera. And I
Yeah.
was quite annoying to the adults because I think that sometimes they weren't expecting this from a child, and
Mhm.
sometimes they didn't have the answers. That child grew up to be a big time follower. And in becoming a follower, it led me to my demise. I was a substance abuser for a very long time in my life. For over a quarter of a century, substance abuse was, I guess, something that I looked to every waking moment. From marijuana to all the other substances, I used almost everything except for intravenous drugs. And at the same time, I was doing music, I was creating music, I was in a band performing and things like that, but my spirit was not happy.
Yeah.
And it took for me to have 3 children for me to one day say, I can't keep doing this. So I sought help. And in finding that help, a few options were provided for me. And as those options were provided, that was the beginning of the 180-degree shift in my life.
Love it.
So the sad part was it happened at, I guess, in my 30s. And I was like, wow, I've blown so many years away because I'm doing drugs. But the good thing was what came out of that, the trust that I gained, the knowledge and insight that I gained, and the newfound found I guess you could say finding a place that I really belong, which was the personal and professional development space. And I became really addicted to that as well. I really wanted more. I wanted to know more. I ran into my first mentor, Dr. Willie Jolly. I met other speakers on many platforms, Delatoro McNeil and many others. And I began the process of rebuilding, reshaping my life, leaving the music sort of in the past. And as I left the music in the past, I really sunk my teeth into this thing called being a speaker, from a motivational speaker to an inspirational speaker to finally becoming a peak performance speaker. And I really, I love helping people become the best versions of themselves. Now, the key is everyone has a different way of doing it. I'm
Right.
more grounded, more down to earth in my own opinion. I don't do somersaults to capture your attention and all that extra chest pounding Tony Robbins stuff, which is great because I like it, but that's
Right.
not my personality.
Okay.
I just meet people where they are based on
Exactly.
the person that I am. And that seems to work for me, Like I said, I've written several books. The Radiate the Brain book series is the book series that I usually utilize in my programs, and
Right.
I'm just excited. In fact, they're right here. I'm excited that I've been able to share these books, which are all interactive books to help people become the best versions of themselves. Now, I could talk forever, but I'm not going to do that. So I want you to guide me a little bit.
You're doing a great job. But thank you. Thank you. It's been quite the journey. But one of the things, excuse me, one of the things that I've come to learn for myself at least, and I'm curious if this was for you as well. We all have our peaks and flows, but when we start going down and hitting what feels like rock bottom, all of a sudden it's like the courage often comes to choose to change. I have my version of it, you had yours, going through your band era with all of the drugs and such. And there's just something that just clicks within. And I've found that whether it's divorce, whether it's drugs, whether it's homeless, there's always something, the human spirit, I think it is, and something that inspires us to be, do, and have more for ourselves such that and then it shifts into being a servant leader or being a servant uh, to
A
support,
servant of some sort, right?
okay, thank you.
No, no, I'm
Was
with
that
you. You're
joke?
right.
Yeah, so it's for me, it's been all about giving back after my journey, getting out of my victim role, and I was in it thick. I was in it really thick, looking all outside of myself, pointing fingers and realizing three are coming back. And I don't know what your journey has been similar, or what was your big ahas during that?
I think, when they have a term rock bottom, I don't think anyone likes walking on rocks. So
No.
we bounce back after hitting rock bottom because it's uncomfortable. And then if you think about it, it's the first time I've actually said this on your show, on your program. Thing about walking on rocks is that they're all different sizes. Some are sharp, some are hard, some are rounded. So if you think literally walking on rock bottom can be very uneven, very
Okay.
difficult and challenging. So that causes us to want to project upward, to change the trajectory of where we are to a better level or a better platform. And for me, that was the fact that, I have three children. At
Mhm.
this point in my life, when I was making this shift, and I'm like, this is a shame. You've got three children and you're not leading it in excellence. You're showing them a bad example of a father. You're showing them a bad example of a male figurehead, and it's like, is that the best you can do? And on the inside, I knew the answer was no. And although it's easy to stay where we are versus trying anything, I knew I had to make the effort. And when I made the effort, began to make that effort, I didn't want to change it back because all of the things that I lost, I was able to regain. And it's funny, if someone gave you $100 bill, just to keep it simple, it'd be great. You grab the $100 bill, you either spend it or wait till you need it. Well, the things that I gained were intangibles: trust, belief,
Mhm.
faith, love. You
Mhm.
can't see those things, you experience those things.
Yep.
And knowing
Yep.
that I
Yep.
positioned myself to experience those things, there's no dollar amount that really can be put on those things. And that made me feel full, filled with joy and appreciation, and proud that I was able to make this change, this transition, and able to lead my children and be a better example as a father. And now I've got three grandchildren, and I know I look about 20, 25, but that's not the point. The point the point is, honestly, we have to make the best of our lives, and the time that we have. We have to make the best of the time we have in our lives the best way possible. And
Absolutely.
hitting rock bottom afforded me to really turn things around and become better, reconnected with my musical roots, and I started doing music again. I've
Wow.
also written several CDs. I've got Around the Mic with Sir Charles. I've got Everybody Knows. That was another great one. And then I had a Just Life. And then the most recent one about a month ago was Charismatic. And I share this not to try to impress anyone, but try to impress upon them that if I can do most of these things, which I have, in fact, all of these things, in the
Yep.
latter part of my life, if
Mhm.
your challenges in life have not been as great as this, what can you not do? There's no
Exactly.
excuse for not moving forward, whether it's IT, carpentry, electrical, being a community servant in your community, wherever your place of worship is, whatever it may be, what industry or profession, it doesn't matter. If I've done the things that I'm saying right now, because I haven't even mentioned the fact I've been on reality shows. I haven't mentioned the fact that I've been in motion pictures with Nicolas Cage and John Voight and Ed Harris. If I could do all of those things
Right.
on the back half so far, what can you not do if you haven't had those types of challenges?
Absolutely. More to my point, because that I think that was my children were my inspiration to move forward, the same as yours, because I was going through a divorce, different than yours. I was going through a divorce, and I got that I was so playing victim, and I was like the mouse, the dormouse, the dormouse. But I realized one day, like, I'm my children's first advocate. I have daughters. Like, what am I teaching them? And all of a sudden, something in my brain just shifted. And again, to your point as well, I found that once I started stepping out of my comfort zone and really stretching myself and realizing anything is possible, I found joy and happiness in that space. And
Yeah,
I love who I am today as a result of it. And I mean, years ago, there's no way I'd be even on camera looking you in the eye going, let's have a conversation. So you're absolutely right. It's really, I believe, trusting yourself, believing in yourself, and putting your toe in and just really checking out the waters and seeing and saying, like, yeah, like, I'm gonna be courageous today and just dip a toe in, worst case scenario.
absolutely. That was most one of the most important lessons I ever learned, even though at the time I didn't want to hear it. Someone said,
Yeah,
trust yourself.
yeah,
And I was like, I just thought that humanity would be kind because it's humanity and people could be humane in their doings, their goings and comings. But it was more to life than trusting in humanity. And we have to trust our inner self. The inner man has to come alive and help us make better decisions. And, we'd be amazed at what you can find. Think of all the people that have crowned Mount Kilimanjaro or Mount Fuji, or all these different heights going to space. Well, someone had to trust themselves in order to move forward. it's no different than you and I. In fact, right now, we don't know who's watching and who's really gaining insight from this conversation. But I'm sure that there will be at least bare minimum one person that can relate, identify, get some great nuggets, and want to move forward in whatever shape, form, or fashion that they can.
Exactly, because I believe we all have a story inside, and one story has it's the ripple effect. You never know that one person who's listening. I believe that, the reason of season, things happen. You never know you're at the right place at the right time, hearing that message that this message is for you. That's going to change your life. So I am a firm believer in that. Uh, I'm really curious because I think when we met many years ago, I don't remember the sir in front of your name. Tell me about that. That's I'm sure a journey in and
Oh
of it.
yeah, Sir Charles Cary. I've
Yeah.
been known as Sir Charles Cary. Seems like all of my life, based on the fact that again, music was my first love. And
Yeah.
I think I was in New York City, and a producer was thinking, look, man, everyone has a certain presence, a certain je ne sais quoi, and you should have one. And I was like, yeah, I guess so. And he's like, look, Sir Charles Cary.
Love it.
And I was like, yeah, okay. And then you fast forward about 20 years, and I was like, that really serves me in no shape, form, or fashion anymore. And just as I was about to like not be acknowledged or to denounce the name Sir Charles Cary, people started asking me, hey, are you going to be in another movie? Hey, do you still do music? Sir Charles, what's your next project? And I was like, okay, it gave birth to itself. And the thing I like about having that name and standing up to that I guess mantra, title, affirmation, was that I didn't place it on myself. It was placed upon me. So
Oh,
I felt a need to live up to it versus I'm the king. Like Michael Jackson is one of my favorite, the king of pop. No, I didn't call myself the king of pop. I didn't call myself Sir Charles Cary. It was thrust upon me. So I just tried to live up to it.
I love that. I love that. One of the things that I play with my clients is we create avatars. And like you said, to live up to. So when we forget who we are, I have Wonder Woman on my phone. I don't know if you can see it or not. I have Wonder
Yeah,
Woman
yeah,
on
yeah.
right. So this way, when I'm sort of my energy or whatever's going down, it's like I look at my phone, I'm like, no, 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 get up there again, So it's that constant reminder of who I'm committed to being. And I love the fact that you said that for yourself as well. Um, is there something that you'd like to leave the listening audience with? Some little pearl of wisdom that a great takeaway for whoever's listening now.
I'll rely on some of my one-liners, such as radiate the brain and change the game. And the whole theme behind that, or the whole meaning by that, is when we focus on what's most important, or let me reverse it. Let me put it like this. When I was dealing with cancer, usually get radiation or you get chemotherapy. The point of radiation is to sort of zero in on the infected area. And by zeroing in on the infected area, you can isolate the good parts of the body or the organs that are not affected and just get the contamination.
Right.
Well, the point of that is for good, but what also happens is that your body becomes vulnerable because your immune system becomes impacted by the radiation. But the overall point of it is to focus on the bad things so that you can change the overall outcome in the long run. So if I say to people at the end of my talking head videos, remember folks, radiate the brain and change the game. You're going to change the outcome of your life. Now here's the problem. A lot of times that's difficult to do alone, because if we could have done it, we probably would not be in those positions. So that's why I say, another one liner we use, the right mindset is all you need.
Mm.
Now, again, the point is whether it's radiate the brain and change the game or the right mindset is all you need, sometimes you need assistance in getting there. And
Yeah,
that's what the Radiate the Brain book series came from,
love it.
helping people to understand how can I get there as an individual. Some of us are strong enough and smart enough, like what's so hard about being you, right? Some of us are smart enough and strong enough to do a DIY, but sometimes you need help. That's when you need a coach. That's when
Yep.
you need a person of, worship to help you through. And that's what you should do. Open your heart and your mind and reach out to those who know more than you, who are more proficient than you may be, so that maybe they can coach you or mentor you in certain ways. So I highly recommend consider that as a learning tool to
Right.
position you to be a better version of you. And if you just send me an email, Sir Charles Cary at gmail.com, and I can send you the 3 P's: purpose, pleasure, passion, the 3 P's formula to help you become that person. And for those that like music and all that, of course, again, we've got a new CD out. Go to Sir Charles Cary music.com and you have access to a free download so you can hear some of the stuff that we've been working on most
Oh,
recently. Is right there on the site. So
yeah.
hopefully I said something that makes a difference to someone.
Absolutely, absolutely. And your presence is just in and of itself does that. Also, just as a sidebar, all of Sir Charles's contact information and everything he's just talked about will be in the show notes. So if you missed it, it will definitely be there. And Sir Charles, if you'll send me the links for your music, I don't believe I have that one. I'll put that in the show as
Absolutely.
well.
Absolutely. Not a
Yeah,
problem.
yeah. It's just been such an incredible pleasure reconnecting with you first and foremost. I was always in awe of you when I first met you. I was a little like timid back then, I think. We
Okay.
met at the McNeil. It was
Full throttle or something like that.
full throttle. Yeah, that's right. It was at full throttle. And I was looking around going, what the heck is going on? Like where's my place in here? And boy, we've both come a long way since then, but
Absolutely.
it's been such a great journey, and following you and watching you is your journeying and your expansion has just been absolutely amazing. So very grateful for that too, because you do inspire many. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you
Uh,
so much for having me.
oh, it's been an absolute pleasure. Any parting words you'd like to leave?
Just really, I think people many times overestimate, maybe underestimate being still.
Mhm.
Learn to be still. If you get that peace within, it's easier to make better decisions. Be
Absolutely.
still.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sir Charles, for your contributions today. Taking time out of your busy schedule to be here with us has been absolutely amazing, and very grateful. And to our listening audience, thank you for joining us on the Awakening Potential podcast. As you step back into your world, remember the bridge from ordinary to extraordinary is built with small steps of changes and big leaps of faith. So let today's insights from Sir Charles Cary be a guiding light as you navigate your own journey. And until next time, continue to awaken your potential and illuminate the extraordinary within. Stay inspired. Until next time, bye for now.